So, how do you travel around Winnipeg, David?
Okay. Well, I've ridden the trails to Assiniboine Park and Omens Creek and in the past, and my kids and my grandkids ride, but nowadays I drive. I do that for a number of reasons. One is that with my work, the nature of my work, I may have to go to any different site in the city on short notice, and secondly, my physical limitations are such that it's more convenient to drive than to use other modes of transportation.
And why do you think people feel unsafe cycling on Winnipeg streets?
Well, the first thing I'd say is that more and more people are riding on the streets, and I gather that the statistics indicate that Winnipeg is a higher level of ridership than, or at least a comparable level of ridership compared to other cities. But the reality is that it is difficult, and I first became aware of how dangerous it is, I suppose, when back in 2006 I was enlisted to help with the critical mass cyclists in dealing with their difficulties at the time, and represented them when many of them were charged with obstruction of justice and many Highway Traffic Act offenses. And at the time I went to City Hall trying to deal with what I thought was the need for more sane behavior on the part of the city. And that led to working on the Manitoba Police Services Act and the new Winnipeg Police Board. And more recently I've been involved in cases involving accidents involving cyclists and trucks. And so I am concerned about safety on the streets, because clearly there is a great deal of unpredictability and uncertainty as to the behavior of both vehicles and cyclists, and a need to separate the two where possible and at least have a clear understanding of what to expect of each other. So there are serious problems that need to be resolved.
And what would you do, change at City Hall to make Winnipeg more bike-friendly within the next 4 years?
Well, I think we have a great start with the pedestrian and cycling strategies, which have been prepared and which have been published in April of this year, but have not yet been dealt with by City Hall. And I would suggest that the new council, as soon as it is elected, should take the strategies into consideration in preparing their new budget for 2015, which they'll have to do immediately. And I would suggest that next year that they begin a process, ideally on a community basis, of working with the various communities of the city to examine those strategies and how they might be applied over the next 20 years in each case. It sounds like a lot of money when you look at it all together, but I think it's certainly reasonable. And in terms of safety, the objective of Vision Zero, which I would subscribe to, that is no fatalities and no serious injuries if we can achieve it, is something which I think everybody would agree with, and we need to take all the steps we can to arrive at that, and I think there's some good work there that we can build on.
And what do you think it would take for Winnipeg to be bicycle friendly in all seasons?
Well, we're talking about the winter when we say that, and winter's coming, and we're talking therefore about snow clearing of sidewalks and bicycle routes and streets, and we're talking about warming shelters, places to store bikes. We're talking about common sense in what you wear and when you ride. A great many things that go into safe riding in the winter. I think it can be done. I think lots of people are doing it, but it's something which we cannot expect we're going to fix the snow clearing overnight, but we can begin. We can begin this winter, and with the cooperation of Bike Winnipeg and the other groups that are concerned about this, I think we can try and begin to develop the white network that other cities have, which are reliable routes that can be traveled safely